Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we are watching episodes 358 and 359 of Bleach. So when I tell you that I've been trying to make time for me to be able to sit down and watch these episodes all day, you'd better believe me, because we are finally getting into, I think, some of the real conflict of this arc. We are so close to the end, and while I want to see it, I feel like I'm hesitant because then I have to wait, and oh my gosh. How did you do it? How did you guys wait this long to get new Bleach episodes? I don't understand it. I mean, I guess you can read the manga, but even that I've got some ways to go. So in the last episode, we got to see Tsukishima coming out of hiding, definitely not messing around like he seemed to be doing before. He is going after my sweet boy Sado. Orihime is there too. I don't mean to be mean to her. Orihime is at least doing stuff in this arc, which is more than she did during the Arrancar arc, so good for her. But going after them, and he seems to be replacing their memories or altering their memories. I think he's just inserting himself into them, which is really messed up, and I don't like it because how do you train to fight someone who attacks your mind? What, and if you can't trust your mind anymore, then what do you do? Your mind is who you are. It's just scary. It's a terrifying thing, which is part of what made Aizen terrifying, because you couldn't trust yourself to know what was real and what wasn't. And Tsukishima's doing a similar thing, except it's I don't know if you're a friend or if you're an enemy. And I hate seeing them fall apart the way that we saw. And unfortunately, I think in this next episode, we're going to see more of Ichigo's friends be affected, which I'm going to have some thoughts about that when it happens. So yay for me, I guess. We also got to see Ichigo mastering his full bring. I don't know if he's mastered it. He's gotten really close. It's far more stable now. He seems to have more control over it. He had his near-death experience, which apparently was important, and hopefully he got the whole being blinded thing healed because, Ginjo did that. But it looks like there are a few different things going on right now. Ishida is MIA, don't know what's going on with him. The whole Rukia working with Urahara and Ishin is just a thing that we have dropped for a little bit. Ryuruka was ambushed by Tsukishima. She looked terrified, and it's implied that he probably used his sword on her and possibly mess with her memories too. I'm not really sure. I don't know at what point he's actually hurting people and at what point he's just doing mind tricks at this point, which is probably all part of his plan to make me not trust people, and I don't like that. So there's a little bit, there's some stuff going on, So I guess let's just get into episode 358. Lord help us. In 3, 2, 1, go. Hang on, I gotta situate Totoro. Totoro has been demoted from my background to my desk because I'm doing a puzzle. Fascinating, I know. My life is very, very exciting. But this is the only, flat surface I have that isn't my desk that I need to work on all the time. So that's where my puzzle is happening. That's the most exciting life update I have. Oh, I should be paying attention. I was told that there's little changes. I want to see his design change that we were hinted at last time. It snuck up on me with Ichigo. Maybe I missed it. I wasn't paying attention. I was talking about my puzzle. We can this part, because I think his costume changes. Yeah. Ooh, he looks like a knight. It makes me think of Ishida when he used the glove thing in Soul Society and he had the knight outfit. Similar vibes. I hate how hard they're trying to, like, you know, be strong and deal with this without Ichigo, and it just goes south. I was talking about that with people in the comments in my last reaction, and I'm like, I agree. Like, how heartbreaking is that? That they put all this time and effort into, like, training to, like, make up for Ichigo's absence, and then they got attacked on, like, a mental level. Like, what do you even do? Ishida? I don't know why I recognize his breathing, don't ask me. You know you have an issue when you recognize someone by their breathing. I know it's like this is a serious moment and I shouldn't be making jokes and laughing, but I'm nervous, so I'm coping. Okay, he's not blind anymore. That's good. I'm assuming that maybe I just forgot. I assume Orihime wouldn't have left while he was still blinded. Okay, but every time I say Yukio's power now, it just makes me want to play like old arcade games, the like 8-bit graphics. Mm, different time. Was that the story? Yeah, he can sense it too, can he? Put the pieces together, Ishida. You're smart, we know this. Mm-hmm. You should watch over them. Because they're connected to Ichigo, I'm assuming. I would also like to know. It seems to all become a delight, though. Do they have the spiritual pressure? Keren and Uryu? Or Yuru? Why can't I? Sorry, it's like my brain got deep fried with names for a second. Why wouldn't you want him to come home? Are we still feeling weird spiritual pressure? Well, we know it Tsukishima's, but uh uh Ishin? We look glad. I hope it's Ishin and Tsukishima playing with their memories because that'll freak me out. Still seemed like a harsh thing to do. I mean, he was already kind of powerful as a Soul Reaper compared to other people. I do. I have one question though. If combining Full Bring and being a Soul Reaper makes you more powerful, why didn't Aizen use it? Like, what, he just like never discovered people that could use Full Bring in his hundreds of years of research connected to like hollows and stuff and powers related to people being around hollows? It just seems, I don't know, a little bit suspicious of the idea that he can combine the two powers together. But if anybody can pull off weird things that no one's ever done before, it's Ichigo. I like the outfit though. The black and white. It looks real when the music kicks in. Ooh. That's smooth animation though. Ooh. Are we sending enemies? Virtual hollows? Nice. Look at him being back in commission. We love to see it. His outfit very much does look like Hollow inspired though. Like Arin Car vibes with the white. Because they had like the bone kind of armor on them. Name it something cool. But preferably like with only a few syllables because I'm not gonna remember if it's as long as some of the other attacks he had with his Senpakuto. Can we go back to the Kurosaki's house? Because I'm nervous about them. I need to know who showed up at the house. Yes, go and see your sisters. So, Reiruka is fine, I guess? Yes, I would like to go back to the house and know what happened. I'm hoping it's Ishen. Because if not, I'm gonna be nervous. Cool lighting effect. The lighting choices in this whole arc are just so atmospheric. Because he probably knows that Ichigo completed his full bring, right? What? Remembered what? I was like, did Tsukishima get to them too? I was wondering with Riruka, because I'm like, she got stabbed. So she could definitely be manipulated. Oh no. I think it's Tsukishima. Nope. If it was a good thing, there would have been nice lighting. It's all in weird shadows. Yep. Definitely a power move, though. He's definitely surprised. Oh, I hate everything about this. Oh, he's definitely gonna hurt him. You might want to move this outside, away from the sisters, children, please. Look how much taller Tsukishima is than Ichigo. Like, Ichigo is not a short person. Oh no. He's gathering them all together. Oh no. Ichigo. The way he's just like continuing to play the part, but you can see in his eyes, he's evil. Oh, Ichigo, it's like isolating him too, like threatening everyone that's important to him, but then also like isolating him because no one else is gonna fight with him or help him go up against Tsukishima. Ooh, dang, Ichigo. I mean, warranted, but also, I would also like to know what he did. I feel like he let himself get punched too, because he could have just gotten out of the way. But he's like, people are gonna turn on Ichigo because he's gonna be like against this person that they think is, you know, nice and a relative and stuff like that. He's either gonna have to play the part so he doesn't like antagonize himself against everyone or antagonize himself. Oh, because people they're like scared of him because of the way that he's acting. He seems the one out of character. Are we running away? Are we leaving our family with Tsukishima? Well, don't get hit by a car. It's a long story. He can't even like go back to the other Fullbringers though because they've also been infected. She's trying to be comforting in the way that only way she knows how, I guess. Is it Ishida? I hope it's Ishida, not someone we don't want to see. Uh oh. He got to everybody. Oh. Where does he even go? Who? Oh, hello, Ginjo. I don't know if he's gonna trust him though. Oh dear. The thing too is like I don't know whether or not to trust Ishida because he also was in contact with Tsukishima and it seems like he's investigating on his own. But at the same time, he might. Because like Orihime and Sado were investigating on their own and then the flip got switched. I'm very distraught. I'm very like trying to process all my feelings and thoughts about what's going on. Just the psychological side of this. I'm trying to pick my words out. It's like it's not only messed up to like his friends, but the way that he's like isolating Ichigo. Just ugh. Yeah, so yep, and he was wearing in this episode. I don't know if he's been wearing it for a while, but well, look whose father finally decided to show up. Ishin, I want you to come back. Mm-hmm. Already gone. He wanted to be invited, like, more, uh, purposefully, I guess. There's so much, I feel like, to take out of this episode. So, like, a big part of it is the, like, psychological factor of it, which is just, like, if you really want to corner someone and make them desperate, you isolate them. And I've talked about that before this season with just Tsukishima going after Ichigo's friends individually, like, making him feel unsafe and feeling like his life is unstable because anyone in his life could be attacked and harmed and he wasn't able to help them. But now that Ichigo is in a better place from like a combat standpoint, Tsukishima has switched to something psychological. And it's not that he's like messing with Ichigo's mind directly, it's the fact that he's forcing Ichigo to play the part that he has decided that Ichigo has to play. Like Ichigo has two options, which is like the run thing that he did, which was to not give in to the narrative and instead to isolate himself away from the situation, or go along with the narrative and then have to figure something out along the way. So there's kind of those two sides of what Ichigo's options are. There are probably like some other options in there too because, you know, choices are complex, but those are kind of the key ones, which puts Ichigo into a very difficult situation because he is either constantly dealing with the stress of having to play along or he's dealing with the stress of basically needing to abandon his friends, and that has to feel awful after everything that he's gone through in general as a character, as we've seen him grow over all of the episodes, but also in this arc where he struggled so much about feeling isolated and not being part of his friends' lives and not being able to help them, so he just had to like step back and let them go into danger with hollows and stuff like that because he knew that he would be more of a hindrance than a help. And then we have him getting to a point where he knew that he was going to be able to stand up for them and really come back to who he sees himself as this protector. And now he can't protect them because if he stays and tries to protect them, he's going to end up hurting them from like an emotional standpoint because they're going to be very distraught, like we saw with him fighting Tsukishima. They're not going to be there to support him because that's not the narrative that they have in their head. Tsukishima is a friend and a relative and someone they really like. So if you see your friend fighting against someone that you really like, you're like, what's happening? What's going on here? Like, and Ichigo would be the outlier, the one that's acting out. So it would turn Ichigo into the villain. I hate it so much. Like, it's a brilliant plan, don't get me wrong. Like, as from a villainous side of things, from an antagonist side, brilliantly thought through. But like the effort and the energy and the time put into making this happen, Tsukishima must really need Ichigo for something. And I don't think it's the same thing that like Ginjo wants Ichigo for, because I don't think Tsukishima wants to give up his powers. I feel like he likes having control and feeling powerful. Otherwise, why mess with people's minds and like being in charge of the like Fullbringer group? I think he likes being in a position of power. So what does he need Ichigo for? Why is Ichigo so important? I mean, maybe it's just because like the other Fullbringers were going to give their power to Ichigo and he wants that power instead. I don't know. But even now, like, he has control over them, so like, why would Ichigo be that big of a threat? It just seems like a lot of effort to go into this happening, and it's so messed up. but I'm torn between being impressed with it as like a plan and being horrified that it has been pulled off. I don't even know anymore. I'm like losing my voice. That's how like passionate I am at this point. This is also like not the first video I filmed today, so there's that too. But I guess let's just get into episode 359 in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, wait, I gotta get Totoro. They're not within easy reach anymore, so I gotta make sure I got them with me. I feel like I'm gonna need the support this episode. Maybe until the end. There's not that many episodes left, and it is getting a little bit intense, isn't it? I'm like closely watching the opener because I know it changes sometimes, and I'm like trying to see if anything changes. I mean, this scene makes a lot more sense with like Ichigo and Genjo fighting back to back, because if they're like the only ones that Tsukishima hasn't gotten to, then. But also, like, maybe Genjo just hasn't been. I don't know, it hasn't affected him yet. It's kind of like how I feel about Ishida. I'm like, there's a chance that they've already had their memories altered, but Tsukishima just hasn't done anything about it yet. So you are around doing stuff. I was hoping Ishin would get involved. I'm hoping that like since like Ishin hasn't been around, that he'll be fine up against Tsukishima. The animation of the eyes, though, because there's like a thing in animation of like if you need the irises to move, you blink, like the character blinks, because it looks unnatural to just have the iris move like that. But in this aspect, it works. It's like unsettling. And it's supposed to be. It's just like a little animation detail that I appreciate as we go through the recap. It is satisfying that Ichigo got to punch him, though. I'm sure that Tsukishima did it on purpose, but it's still satisfying. The thing, too, like, if everyone in your life thinks a certain way, you start to doubt yourself, too. Because, like, a part of your brain is like, well, if everyone's saying that I'm wrong, then maybe I am. You know? And even though I'm, like, assuming Ichigo will live in this world long enough for that to be what happens, but it's still awful when you're, like, surrounded by people who, like, are saying that how you perceive reality is wrong. It's okay. It seems like Urahara and Ishin are coming back. I don't know what Ishin's energy sword thing is. So I hope that's something that we come back to. I mean, we might have just saw them in that clip and then we don't see them for a little bit. I mean, it would have probably happened anyway. I feel like Tsukishima wants something from Ichigo, regardless of whether or not Ginjo or the other Fullbringers had shown up. I mean, it's Tsukishima's fault if we need to blame somebody. I think we can blame him. That's terrifying. It's scary to think that he's like actually manipulating history, though. Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's like what I would say. I'm like, to everybody else, this is just how it's always been. So, how do you fight someone like that? Excuse me, Ichigo? Since when are we okay with killing people? I feel like this goes back to like the anger that Ichigo seems to have in general. There's something vindictive about the way that he sees his power now. Yes, also true. Hello, Yukio. I noticed before that Ginjo didn't say that Yukio would know, and wasn't Yukio the one that like paid for things? So I feel like he might be more in the loop than the others with what Ginjo was doing. Oh, he was tracking them. See, that's like the issue of like being so tight knit with people and then having them all, think that you're the one that's gone crazy because they know you better than anyone else. Like it's not like someone just like learning a bunch about you externally. It's like people who are like legitimately close with you and you trusted telling them things. And then um and then them turning on you. So like they just know all the things that you knew you could trust them with, but now you're kind of like the enemy, so it's you can't like take it back anymore. And they probably in some part think that they're helping. Where are we going? Because the forest is not exactly their city hideaway that they had before. Where? Ah, the estate that he was at before. So we went to Tsukishima's place instead. Seems a little eccentric, but seems to be his style in general. Yeah, maybe we don't just jump immediately to trying to kill him immediately, like right away. I want to know what he wants Ichigo for, though. A surprise party? They both look really worn out, like all the lines under their eyes and stuff. Welcome back from where? True. They're still like the same people. They just think that Tsukishima is one of their friends. The fact that it's like showing them without their eyes is also like, you know, making them less of who they used to be because, eyes are the doorway to the soul. So they don't seem like the same people to him. Control the rage, Ichigo. Just this once, maybe. Deep breath. Play along for a little bit, maybe. So where's Orihime and Santo? Because he's control of them too, but they're just like not around. Oh, hello. Rest of the gang. It's weird too to like have your friends still be your friends, but like you're also kind of on edge because you think of them as being on the enemy side, but they're not. Oh, hello. Oh, so he's cutting off the stairway so none of his friends can come up. Oh, I thought we were unarmed. Maybe we were before, but he got his bookmark back at some point. The music, though. I feel like Ichigo isn't going to fight well, though, because he's not thinking clearly. He's fighting from emotion. He's still doing well, though. But he's fighting more reactionary than, like, strategic, which I don't know if that'll help against someone like Tsukishima, who I feel like is very strategic and has some kind of plan, at least in mind, about how to deal with Ichigo. If nothing else, he has years more experience with a full brain. I mean, Ichigo has a bunch of experience as a fighter, but still. Ooh. I don't think Tsukishima really knows what he's up against yet, though. Um, so though, there you are. And I want to be excited because I love a sweet boy, but at the same time, he might fight Ichigo because he thinks it's for his good. It's good for him to like stop him from fighting against Tsukishima, and it's gonna make him Ichigo hesitant to actually fight all out because he doesn't want to hurt his friends in the crossfire. I hate this a lot. I feel like probably in their memories too, like the ones with Ichigo, there was probably like memories of Ichigo getting along with Tsukishima, like from their perspective. Yeah, see? Like there's probably moments where they're like, I don't know, Ichigo and him used to be friends. And now he's like acting weird. Way to just go back and fully rewrite their memories, though. Or the past. I don't really know. The idea of it like actually being the past freaks me out a little bit too much. I like the idea of it being memories better because then it's like reversible in some way. He put himself in there instead of Urahara? This is what I'm saying about him like making Ichigo the villain. Like for everybody else, Ichigo is the one who's doing the wrong thing. He's the one that's like betrayed them. I hate this so much. I can't wait for like Ishin and Urahara to show up and just like hopefully help put Tsukishima in his place. Because I hate that because everyone's like still friends with Ichigo, but they're also like think that they're trying to like help him or save him from himself. They don't understand why he's acting the way he is. So like no one's really the bad guy except Tsukishima, and I'm so upset. Imagine having to go back and like redo those scenes though to put Tsukishima in it. I don't know how easy that is with like drawn animation. I mean, I guess if they have like the original files, it might be easier, but I really don't know. It's like when they do flashbacks sometimes, but it's from like the earlier scenes, so it has like it's the different ratio, so they have to like expand like the edges of it so that it fits the widescreen. I'm glad they did it though, like the detail of that is nice. I hate that Ichigo's gonna have to fight his friends though. Sure. Ooh, I hope you didn't want her to cook with you because she is a weird taste. Maybe. I still hate that this is all about making Ichigo the villain in it. Like, the way that this is shifted into a point where the only reason that we can really empathize with Ichigo in this instance is because one, we as the audience know what actually happened, like we saw it, so we know that this is like a weird thing that Tsukishima is doing, but two, we're being told the story from Ichigo's perspective, which is why we know what we know. But if we had been told this story like in isolation, without all of the other arcs, and we've been told from someone else's perspective, like Orihime or Sado or whoever, then Ichigo would be the villain. He would be the friend that was like normal and fine and everybody got along for all of these years together, and then suddenly one day snapped and decided to like pick a fight with Tsukishima and was just like really paranoid and acting in such an uncharacteristic way. It's so confusing because I understand where everyone is coming from. Like, seeing from their perspective that that's what would be happening for them, is that Ichigo has snapped and everything that they're doing is to help him and to, figure out why he's acting the way that he is. But I need them to stop working against him because I know that Tsukishima is the villain, and I just need everybody to go back to knowing what the truth is and being friends. But even as I say that, like, what the truth is only like as good as you remember it, right? Like, how do you know that like you're remembering something correctly? Because the human memory is not very good, and you get this all the time with like court cases where people are like eyewitnesses of stuff and you ask them to recall what happened, and a lot of the time they're inaccurate because we just don't remember things clearly, or it gets wrapped up with emotions, or we're focusing on something specifically so we don't like catch all of the details that are like actually important, or like we tell the story enough times that we change little things every time we retell a memory, and every time we do that, little things get added over and over and over again, and they add up to it being quite different in our brains than it used to be. And you don't really know what the truth is except like what you perceive it to be in terms of like your memories, your past, what you've been through. So like to them it is the truth, and I really don't know how to feel. I mean, I know how I feel about Tsukishima. I feel like look, there have been like a lot of bad people in Bleach. There are people that make me uncomfortable, that have done awful things that I refuse to forgive. I really don't like Tsukishima, but he's also a brilliant villain. Not only in terms of like brilliant from like the standpoint of like being clever, like the way that he is able to set up all of these things to a point where it is kind of like him setting up like dominoes, and then now he's pushed them over and everything is falling into the image that he wanted. And that's just really well done. The choice of how he was going to manipulate Ichigo and be an adversary to him, like at this point he doesn't even really have to fight him because he has all of these people that are going to get in the way because they're Tsukishima's friends, but they're also Ichigo's friends. So many people are involved in what's going on that like Ichigo doesn't even know how to fight him, because how do you do that when there are people around that you could harm, who are constantly getting in your way, that if he does end up killing Tsukishima, which he was a little bit quick to agree to, and that worries me because that's uncharacteristic of him. Even if he does, like that's gonna be them watching their friend kill their friend, which is just messed up. And even if like it does erase their memory and it all gets reset, does it take away the trauma? I don't know. I feel like there's no real way to win this, and I'm very upset. And we only have so many episodes left. We have what, 7 episodes left? I was not expecting this last arc to be this much. I was like, it's the last one. Some people told me that they liked it, some people said that they didn't, and I was like, it can't be more stressful than like dealing with Aizen. It can't be. And I don't know if it's more stressful, but like, even though it's smaller scale, since it's like a psychological thing, it's just very like emotionally and mentally exhausting. I feel like not just like me watching it, but like the characters. You can see like Ichigo is physically exhausted from just like dealing with all of the stuff that's going on, and it's not even like him having to like put in a bunch of like physical effort. It's just like emotion and mental exhaustion. And I'm sad for him for that. But hopefully Urahara and Ishin show up and help a little bit, because Ichigo needs somebody to back him up. You can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so you don't miss the next time I post a Bleach video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!